we have a really wonderful special guest today who's leading us in our heart and soul gathering. My dear friend Faye. Oh my gosh. I remember uh, I don't know why this memory comes up, but it is a time when we were at a practitioner retreat and she and I found a swing and we just sat on this two-person swing and we just swang back and forth and just shared talk story. We just connected. It was just a beautiful experience. We have done lots of prayer work together, and Faye has decided to continue her training with Centers for Spiritual Living and is currently in ministerial school, soon to be graduating. So
Yay.
it's exciting that she's here with us today and already starting her ministry. She started ministry a long time ago, but it's just like really nice to have a forum, like a place, like what we have here in Heart and Soul, that is our weekly gathering place of people who are the love ambassadors. We call ourselves the love ambassadors in this love tribe. And so having you join us today, Faye, is just such a blessing for all of us. And I'm so grateful you said yes, and grateful to have this time to do something unique and share the ever-growing evolution of processes that we attract or that we create and we make ours, that now in this moment all of us here in Heart and Soul will get a chance to experience through you as our gifted leader and facilitator. So we're so grateful you are here. Thank you so much, Faye, and thank you to everyone who's found your way to be part of our Heart and Soul gathering. She's asked if possible, we are recording obviously, so you can always come back at another time should this feel good for Faye to allow us to. Do this process again at another time. However, for today, if you are able to get your pencil and paper, we'll be needing it for something she'll be needing us to do. So I've got mine, and you get yours, that'd be great. And for right now, then I think we should get started because I know she has a lot to share, and I want to give her as much time as possible to do whatever it is she's here to do with us. And thank you so much again for all of you being here. Thank you, Albert. Nice to see you. Aloha. Welcome back. Oh, and Faye, we have all over the place here. We have people from Kauai, from Peggy is in Louisiana, Albert is in Oregon. Leslie, are you in New Jersey or Pennsylvania? I can't remember. I know you're from that area. Hart is in Seattle. And let's see if anybody else. Luis, Loya are in Kauai. Bettina and is local. Tammy's local. Oh, Marcia. Marcia, where are you at currently? Are you in Las Vegas or California? I can't remember where Marcia is right this very moment. Where are you?
Right this second, I'm in Vegas.
Okay, you're in Vegas. See that? Faye, we're all over the place. We're all these different time zones. We have all the way from Hawaii to the East Coast right now. So, all right, without any further, oh, here comes Deborah from Kauai. So without any further ado, is that the thing? We shall now pass it on to you, Faye. Welcome,
Thank you.
aloha.
Aloha, everyone. I am Faye Abdus-Salaam. Just like she said, I've been working as a practitioner at CSL Dallas, and I'm about to finish ministerial school. I graduate this year, so I'm really excited about that. Um, oh, I see my twinsy, Vanessa. We have the same birthday. So today we're going to talk about storytelling and scripting. I don't know, you may have heard of scripting because there are different people using it. I got it from Abraham Hicks, and it's pretty much writing your story. Ultimately, you're going to write it as if you're reading a storybook, or if you think about like movies, they do a playwright first, or they do the script first. And so I'm going to take you through understanding first, identifying the story, understanding how you got that story, and then identifying whether it's working for you or not. So the thing about stories, how many of you have heard that words have power? What we say, it really matters. It really matters whether we think it, whether we say it. And I grew up hearing a lot of different things. One of the things that I heard was children are to be seen and not heard. And as an adult, I saw how that was playing out and how it affected me. And so I personally changed that story and started telling a different story so that not only did it not continue to impact me, but the children around me, the children that came into my presence and my experience, they had a voice. I was able to give them a voice versus allowing the other story to continue to play in my life. So the first thing is I want you to just think about what your story is. It could be any kind of story. And I want it to just be one sentence. We're going to make this real simple first. We're going to do it real simple. For example, I recently had a car accident and my story, I started to create a story was like, oh, I have PTSD. And so I went with that. But the thing about when you have a thought, when you hold it for 17 seconds or longer, it starts to attract other thoughts that are along the same vibration as that thought. And so I went on a pattern of, oh, I have PTSD. I'm afraid to get in the car. Oh, these people out here can't drive. Like, and so it went on and on and on to the point where it was like, I was like, I'll walk wherever I need to go. And then even walking, people are honking horns, and I'm like, I'll just stay home. I don't want to leave the house. And so I noticed that. I noticed the thought patterns, and it was like, okay, this is starting to have power over me. I can't allow that to happen. So the thing about the stories, again, is one, recognizing the story, whatever the story is. And so I identified the story that I was telling. So I want you to just think about one sentence, one story that you may be telling yourself, and then write that down. And when you're done, if you could just look up so I can know that we can move to the next part.
So, can you say that one more time? Because I wasn't sure if Leslie heard and she just came back on. And she
Okay.
just do the one request.
Okay, we're writing down one sentence, a story that we're telling ourselves. And so the example I gave was I recently had a car accident. And so the story was I have PTSD. And then it became, oh, I'm afraid to be in the car. Then it was, oh, these people out here can't drive. And so the story just kept growing, but not necessarily benefiting me.
So Faye, this is a story that's a negative story or a problematic story that we don't want to live with. Is that correct?
Yes, that is
Not,
correct.
not something positive, but something not positive. Okay. All
Right,
right.
not positive. The thing is we all tell stories, and there's some that benefit us, and then there's some that don't benefit us. We're going to talk about the ones that don't benefit us and how to move through it and how to change it so that we can get the outcome that we desire. All right. So when we talk about the stories that we say to ourselves, or even the thoughts that we think, a lot of that tends to come from either our childhood, or it comes from the people around us. It comes from society. There's a lot of different reasons. And so the first thing is really identifying the psychological part. Like, how are we identifying with it, the mental part, and just, is it cultural? Is it familial? Is it social? Is it spiritual? Like, we have to really identify that. And in the metaphysical community, Michael Beckwith came up with the 4 states of consciousness. And so there are 4 states. State 1 is life happens to me. And that's a victim consciousness. State 2 is life happens for me. That's where we're able to take responsibility and shift things. State 3 is life happens through me. That's where we become a channel. And then stage 4 is I am. It's the I am presence. Now, I will tell you, when I had the car accident, I was in stage 1. I was in the victim consciousness because it was like, look what happened to me. Now, when I moved into stage 2, at some point I was thinking life happens by me, because there were at one point when I originally learned it, I learned it as life happens by me, when it's really life happens for me. And so when I was thinking life happens by me, then it was like, oh, well, part of this is my fault. What was in my consciousness? What was I thinking? And the thing is, things happen. Sometimes we can have thoughts in our consciousness. And I will say, there were some thought patterns. Once I sat with everything that happened, there were some things that I was saying and thinking that could have contributed to it. But at the end of the day, I didn't hit my own car. Somebody else hit my car. And so when somebody reminded me that life happens for me, it was like, oh yeah. Okay, there we go. When they reminded me life happens for me, they were like, look, you've been wanting to do this, you've been wanting to do that. Now you get to do this because of the car accident, and then the car gets paid off and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, huh, okay. So now that I've been able to move to that, then it's like, okay, I can move into being a channel, because it's like, well, what do I really want now going forward? So you can use the states of consciousness to identify where you are as far as any particular incident or the story, to help move you to where you want to get to. The I am place, stage 4, you can try to get there, but the thing is, you're not going to stay there. Like, all of them we kind of move between each of them depending on whatever is going on and the circumstances of it. So you're not going to just get to one and stay there. You're going to move between them, like, depending on the circumstances.
Beautiful. And Faye, are you taking comments and questions now because there's someone who has a question, or would you like to wait?
I think I want to wait because I want to move through this to get to the other part. And then can you write your question down? I want to make sure that I answer it.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
maybe in the chat, if there's a
Ooh,
question.
that would be good. Yeah, if they put it in the chat, that way I can just answer it and then,
Okay.
thank you. So again, the other deal is identifying your emotional states, your emotions around whatever is going on in the story, because the emotions are going to impact your ability to attract. Wayne Dyer, he says feelings can be used as measuring tools. They tell how much of life force energy we're summoning to be able to manifest whatever it is that we want to manifest. And negative emotions says that there's doubt and pulling power, and the pulling power is weak. So it's important to really pay attention to whatever it is we're feeling, because if it's a negative feeling, then it's more likely that we're doubting versus feeling like, oh, this is really possible. Oh, step two. Step two is life is for me. Okay, the I am presence. So the I am presence, that's identifying with the absolute. So for example, when we meditate, and we sit in the silence and we're allowing ourselves to be at one with all that is, and allowing that I am presence, the whatever it is you call it, we call it God, we call it the universal I am, we call it Allah, Jehovah. Everybody has different names for it. Spirit, whatever it is you choose to identify as the I am presence, that's what being with that energy. Because the other deal is, I study science of mind teachings, and we teach that I am the I am, because I am an individualized expression of the one, of infinite intelligence. And so the same, if I'm made, because I'm made in the image and likeness of spirit, that means that I am able to manifest just the same. Or some people call it Christ consciousness as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so the emotions. So a change of feeling is a change of destiny, because every feeling makes a subconscious expression. Abraham Hicks, I don't know if you follow Abraham Hicks, they talk about emotional scale, better feeling thoughts, and moving up the emotional scale to, using better feeling thoughts to move up. So for example, at the beginning, I gave the example, I have PTSD. It's not safe to be in the car. I'll walk instead. I don't want to leave the house. And that was going down the emotional scale. So a better feeling thought would be, well, I've been in 6 accidents as an adult, and only one was really bad. You know what? I walked away from each of those. I walked away from all of them. The one that was really bad, I only had a scratch. Now, those each were better feeling thoughts to move up the ladder, so that I can make sure I don't go the other way, what I was doing before. Okay, so the other deal is understanding whether the stuff is internal or external. When the story that we're telling, is it internal or external? So for example, when I made the comment about, the drivers out here are bad, a lot of that is external, because a lot of people, the peanut gallery, misery loves company, right? Everybody's like, oh, Dallas drivers, they can't drive. And if it rains and everybody just beats that drum. And so that's not helpful. And so it's a matter of me tuning out all the external noise. Whereas an internal would be a, a feeling of, for example, today when I was going over, something made me count the accidents, and I was like, oh, I remember that accident when I was a kid. I was in a really bad accident with my family as a kid, and it was a really bad accident, like worse than the one or about the same as the one that I had. But all of us, again, all of us walked, it was 6 kids and my mom in the car, and all of us walked away. And so it was, I could have told a different story internally, like, oh, this isn't good. It could have gone really bad and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have that reference, thankfully, because again, we walked away from it and I didn't have that memory at the time that I had this accident. So yeah. So some of the internal, external could be, there's a thing called GSA. I can't remember what the letters stand for, but it's age, developmental disability, acquired disability, religion, ethnicity or race, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, national origin, nationality, language, gender, indigenous group, or membership. And so then you have dominant and non-dominant cultures, right? So for example, in the United States, the dominant culture used to be Christianity, right? That used to be a dominant culture. That's not necessarily the dominant culture at this time, because a lot of different things are changing. There's a lot of different religions and practices coming up. That's not, competing is not the word, but people have a choice. People have a choice in what they choose, in what they want to believe and what they want to practice. And so depending on your story, you could look at the story that you wrote down. Like, does it have anything to do with your race, your gender? Like, I hear about people, women in corporate America, and how they talk about, whether they can what they have to do to get ahead. And I know growing up African American, I would always hear, as a Black person, we have to work twice as hard. That doesn't serve me. Okay. Because I don't want to work hard. Now that I understand I don't have to work hard, that life is for me, I want a different experience. So, and Eckhart Tolle also talks about the pain body. Really understanding, like, whatever the story is, you may be identifying with something that's in the pain body. And the pain body could be something you experienced, as well as something that's generational. Like, for example, in my family, there's a generation of substance abuse. There's a generational pattern of mental illness. There's a generational pattern of abuse. And so those different things, really understanding that, and it's like, oh, okay, I need to be able to identify it and understand how to shift for myself. What are the triggers so that I can move through that and not necessarily be activated emotionally and then react. So it makes it easier when you're able to identify whatever that pain body is for it, so that you can transform it. Because whatever we identify as or with in the thought forms, that's what manifests. Thomas Trower talks about when we ultimately transform our thoughts and change our story, we're able to rise above the law of averages. He says we can gradually grow into any condition we desire, provided we first make ourselves in habitual mental attitude the person who corresponds to those conditions. And so what I personally did, it was like, okay, I needed to change my story, and then I had to take action as far as, okay, well, let me take rides, let me get in the car, let me practice, riding. And then at some point, then I'm going to actually get behind the wheel and drive so that I don't allow, the PTSD or the car accident to control my situation. Okay, so now I want you to look at your story and just look at it for what it is without judgment, because we're not here to judge ourselves or anybody else. Because the thing is, the story is just a story. We can change it. The law is very efficient in just saying, okay, that's you want something different? All right, here you go. No need to punish. No need to, I can't believe you were thinking that. We don't need any of that. We're going to throw that out. And so I want you to just look at what you wrote and then take a minute or two and think about what is it that you really want. There are no limitations. You can put down whatever it is you really, really want. When you have what it is that you want, I want you to write a sentence, write out the sentence of what you want, but do it in present tense. It needs to be as if it already is. For example, I'm not necessarily in the car right now because my car has been totaled. However, I know what my dream car is. And so my new story is this year, I was able to get into my dream car. I was able to buy my dream car this year because I'm speaking it as if it is already happened. Or I could say, I love driving my new car around. I love driving the Infiniti QX80. It has leather seats. The color is a sage green. It also helps if you put words that give you feeling tones, because the better you feel, that also helps in the manifestation. It helps draws it to you faster. Because again, everything is frequency, it's vibration. And so the higher the vibration, the faster the manifestation. Does anybody need more time? No? Okay. So I gave you an example of something that I wanted to change, but I'll tell you something that I was just affirming, a thought that I had that was not bad or anything. So recently, last year, when I knew that I was going to be graduating, I decided, because I had kept hearing different other students say, you know, oh, well, um, I'm going to wait till I graduate and then, you know, go into ministry and all of that stuff or whatever. And I was like, well, why do I have to wait till I graduate? Why can't I just start ministry now? I don't want to wait and then have to do the transition after the fact. And so last year at the beginning of the year, I just started affirming and telling people, hey, I want to be in ministry this year. I want to start ministry this year. And literally within a matter of months, people started calling on me, asking me to step in and either do meditation or do talks and different things like that. And so now even I'm working at the spiritual center that I go to. They've hired me part-time to do some different roles until they figure out how to bring me on full-time once I actually graduate. So again, you just got to work it. You got to work it. And now, granted, I had to tweak it depending on how it went because it was like, oh wait, I didn't think about that part. That I don't like that part. Let me tweak that. Let me take that part out and I would switch it around to accommodate what it was I really wanted as I moved through it. Because again, the universe is going to give us, life is going to give us feedback. Ultimately, feedback. Okay, you said that you wanted this, you're setting this intention, here you go. And it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I know I said I wanted this, but that didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. So, and then I would go back to the drawing board. And so I journal a lot. And so if you don't have a practice in journaling, I recommend it, either journaling or scripting too. You could do one or the other. But I do both. I have a journal for just getting it all out. And then I have another, I call it a journal still, but it's specifically for scripting, just writing my story. I have a script for a relationship that I'm manifesting. I have a script for my ministry, what it's going to look like. Like I have a script pretty much for anything because I want to make sure that I'm intentional about what I want to experience in my life. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. I know that was a lot.
Thank you.
Faye, that was beautiful. And we will have some questions. We do have some comments. We have some sharing. I know that
I see a question in the,
Leslie had a question specifically about what is a feeling tone, because you use that term feeling tone and maybe some
yes.
examples of that. And then we're going to open it up to anybody who wants some clarity about this process or wants to get deeper about things. Because here we have someone who is, here's Faye, already, Reverend Faye, who's already claimed her ministry right here with us. So we have her right here. Let's take advantage in a good way, this experience. So yeah, so I'll let you have it now, Faye.
Because that's what she asked the universe to
Exactly.
do. So we are the universe
Yeah.
letting her be a
This
minister.
is the feedback.
Yes.
Loop.
Yeah,
And thank you. Thank you for answering the call.
Yes.
yeah. And then after we're done, she's going to say, whoa, I wasn't asking for that.
The difference between a flower and a weed is judgment. And I was like, ah.
I really like that. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, we have so enjoyed you, Reverend Faye. Our friend Peggy had to go. She goes, thank you, Reverend Faye. This was so refreshing. Thank you for your light and sharing your wisdom. Great way to end the day. So I would love it if you could pray us out.
I'd love to.
Just feeling into the vibration of what we did today, some of the comments that were shared. and the blocks that we still may be, like that's the untruths that you can just see as that, as no thing, and just pray us out. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faye.
Yes,
Thank
we thank
Great
you so
job.
much. Yes, great job.
Let's take a deep breath in. Just releasing everything out into the ethers. Knowing that the power that breathes us, expresses as us, loves us, supports us, grows us, knows us. It is the very intelligence that guides us through the day. That awareness that says that a thought benefits us or not. And what I know to be true about this intelligence that's expressing as each one of us and guiding each one of us, I know that it is for life. Therefore, it is for me. It is for each person that's on this call. I've heard people say life calls forth more life and greater expression. And I know that life is calling forth more life in each person here and greater expression in each person. And that greater expression is a greater expression of love, a greater expression of joy, a greater expression of peace, a greater expression of vibrancy, health, well-being. And I know that as we trust our breath and that power to breathe us, we trust that with each exhale, we can let go of any thoughts and any beliefs that get in the way of the truth of who we are. I know that, and I affirm for each person as they go through the rest of their day, as they go through the rest of their week, beginning this week, and going through this year and the rest of their lives, that they remember with the breath who they are, breathing in that brilliance, breathing in their uniqueness, breathing in their power, and exhaling anything that is opposite or not of that. But what I know about God in this universe is that it is love. It is that self-givingness of itself, to itself, for itself, as itself. And I know that each person on this call is that self-givingness. And they're able to give to themselves by doing the work, by taking time to be aware of their thoughts, for taking time to write the script so that they can make it plain and write clearly what they want to experience and create a life that they love and enjoy. And so I give thanks for all the good that's happening right here, right now, for all the good experiences that they get to experience as a result of this greater expression. I give thanks for the relief that comes, for them trusting and doing the work. And I truly give thanks for the perfect execution of the law, because I know it's already moving. All things move towards the full fruition. And with great expectation and glad tidings, I release this, knowing that it is already done and it is so, so good. And we affirm it all together by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And
So
so
it is.
amen.
And so it is.
So it is.
God bless
You go,
you.
girlfriend. That's
Thank
better than a lot of people I've seen that got 20 years in the industry. That was better than them. You go, girlfriend.
you.